Happy Friday. Guys, I live in London. I cannot believe this unseasonably wonderful weather we're having. I'm sitting down in my little garden. My garden is a mess, but I promise, like, as I said, once I get it cleaned up, I'll be sure to invite you guys to have a quick look at it. I'm trying to organize for our live this Saturday. We're going to be talking about this Sophie Chandauka issue, just kind of a weekly roundup. We're going to talk about the As Ever launch. And I'm trying to get us a special guest. I'm trying to see if she will agree to show up at the time. I don't know if we're in the same time zone. I've sent her a message, but I would like to do more collaborations with Sussex people on YouTube. Let's get together, talk to each other. The haters are collaborating, so why shouldn't we? And I think it'd be nice for the guys. For many of you that have joined my channel, thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you're entertained. And I'm hoping we can become a community of people who, as much as possible, try and push back a lot of the hate and negativity about the Sussexes, and yeah, just generally the unfair reporting. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome and thank you. This is the dragging space. I do drag a lot of people here. I am not nice about it, as you figured out. I come at you if I think you're being unfair. And I want to remind everybody again, while I do like Meghan, I stand 10 toes and 10 fingers down for the Duchess, and I'm rooting for her all the way. It doesn't mean that she is above reproach or above criticism. That's not what this is about. What we do is we go after people that are being blatantly unfair, selling lies, and just intentionally misconstruing every single thing she does. So I would like to, first of all, because I'm about to play some videos. Some of it will touch on the charity, the charity investigation currently going on. Some of it will touch on As Ever, and that will be a roundup, I think. So yeah, before I start, I want to give appreciation to Josephine Imisiolo. I don't have my glasses on. Imisiolo Olua. This sounds like a Nigerian woman, actually, Yoruba. What I like about her or him is they're always reposting clips from certain TV shows that I might be looking for and I cannot find. And again, because of the way they are reposting it, I don't get copyrighted. So I think now that I found her, once in a while I'll be using their content. But I'm of course going to give you the link. If you're on Twitter, please follow her. So yeah, let's get started and let's react. Oh, bear with me, guys.
Now, Duke of Sussex, says it's been heartbreaking to witness the bitter row of the Sentebale charity he co-founded but quit as patron last week. Prince Harry also said blatant lies and hurt many who'd helped the charity, which supports children in southern Africa who've been affected by AIDS and HIV. It came in response to the Charity Commission here opening a case. My monitor, Chris Ship, has joined us in the studio. Chris, this has been an ugly row that just continues. So what exactly will the Charity Commission be looking at?
Yeah, you're right, ugly, and it's got, even more unpleasant if that's possible over the last week. So just a reminder for viewers, if they don't remember, Prince Harry walked away from Sentebale, the charity he created 20 years ago in memory of his mother to help children in southern Africa. Why did he walk away? Not just him, but the Prince Seso, who he co-founded it with, all the board of trustees. It's because they said the working relationship they had with the current chair, they said, was just not workable. They couldn't work with her anymore. Now that current chair is Dr. Sophie Chandauka. We've got some pictures here of her and when Prince Harry was with her earlier in the year. Now she
That's not correct. That was from last year. If you recall, guys, we went through this last in some videos ago. This was evidence of them attending a fundraising event that had been put together by the Lebec consultancy, who is now at the heart of this mess. I think this was in Florida, and I think the purpose was, of course, fundraising. So again, Chris Ship, because she called him Chris Shit, I call him Shipwrecked, because these journalists don't know how to report facts. And the fact that a journalist is actually not even bothering to do his own due diligence says a lot about why I don't listen to anything the British media, and why you shouldn't listen to anything the British media say.
launched quite a visceral attack on Prince Harry at the weekend, telling him that he was guilty of harassment and bullying at scale. We've got a statement from Prince Harry today, as you say, on the day the Charity Commission said, we are launching an investigation. As well as saying it's been all a load of blatant lies, he said, we fully expect it will unveil the truth that collectively forced us to resign. We remain hopeful this will allow for the charity to be put in the right hands immediately for the sake of the communities we serve. Now, look, Charlene, I mentioned about how important this was to Prince Harry. He has been involved for such a long time with Sentebale. There's some pictures of him from the very early days there when he spent a lot of time in Lesotho in southern Africa. It's now for the Charity Commission to decide who is right and who is wrong, because at the end of the day, Charlene, both sides in this row cannot be right.
Indeed, Chris, thanks very much.
And that is, well, probably the only thing that he probably said that made a little bit of sense. I don't know if it's a right or wrong thing. I just think sometimes the facts are what they are. I think personally, and we've seen, I think what has happened here is a case of, this is a spending row. A spending row. They didn't like the way she spent the money. They asked her to step down from her unpaid role. She refused. And that's why we're having this mess. I would have ignored the story and just kind of reported on it and said, look, let's just give them time. But then she brought Meghan into it and went into the media to say that Harry was bullying her and harassing her at scale. And then when you ask her, okay, what are the evidence of the bullying and harassing? Well, he released a statement saying that he was stepping down. So, I mean, come on now. Anyway, watch this space, guys. As more information comes out, we will make it available. Okay, what's the next video? I'm going to ignore this. Yep. Yes, just a quick, let's see how they are reporting it on ITV.
To you, morning Rambo, morning Adult, morning to you at home. Now we start with news of Prince Harry, because he says he is relieved the Charity Commission has opened an investigation into a charity he co-founded, hitting out at blatant lies. The Duke of Sussex quit his post as patron at Sentebale last week. Its chair, Sophie Chandauka, accused him of harassment and bullying. Well, Gargi Patel is at Buckingham Palace with us this morning. Morning, Gargi. The Charity Commission says it's opened a case to examine concerns raised about Sentebale. What can you tell us?
Yes, well, this has been clearly very upsetting for Prince Harry. This is a charity that he helped set up 20 years ago in memory of his late mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, to help disadvantaged youngsters, especially those suffering from AIDS and HIV. And he was a high-profile face of the charity, the patron. He worked alongside the chair, Sophie Chandauka, who did the day-to-day running. And there's clearly been a terrible rift that's opened up between them. Reacting to the news that the Charity Commission is opening an investigation, Prince Harry has released a statement saying that what has happened over the last week has been heartbreaking to witness, especially when such blatant lies hurt those who have invested decades in this shared goal. We share in the relief, he says, that the Charity Commission confirmed they will be conducting a robust inquiry. We fully expect it will unveil the truth that collectively forced us to resign. So he resigned along with a whole number of trustees for the charity. Cracks began to appear last year at a fundraising polo match when Sophie Chandauka was there. The choreography on stage was very awkward and the fundraising went very badly. Now, just a word about the Charity Commission investigation. This is a compliance investigation. They're going to be looking at how the charity is complying with rules and regulations. If they find there's more to investigate, they could then open up a statutory inquiry and look into the running of the charity even further.
Gargi, thank you.
I don't like the way this is being reported, and I agree with Josephine's point. This is not about polo match. I don't know why they keep on bringing up the polo match. But oh, sorry, no, I know why they keep on bringing it up, because Meghan is there. Anyway, this is not about the polo match. This is about the misappropriation of funds. If a charity is only bringing in 1.5 million a year, it is not justifiable to be paying people approximately 600,000. And more importantly, it doesn't make any sense to ask the CEO, for the chair to ask for a 300,000 pound or dollar salary. That makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that the charity commission will come to that conclusion, and I look forward to seeing what else they talk about. And one more thing to also bring up, guys, Ian Rawlinson was one of the said consultants. That to me is kind of like the massive conflict of interest. I was reading comments about, did Sophie even have, when the trustees step down, does she even have the authority, according to the articles of incorporation of the charity, to instate anybody she wants to the board? Why is Ian there? What procedures had been taken to ensure that he could even join the board? So you might find that there's actually way more to the story than we're even seeing. So I guess watch this space. Let's go back. I think we have one more video. Oh, apparently GB News, I told you guys a few days ago that even from the clips I saw on GB News, people were not necessarily buying the BS. But let's see.
Make any sense. But the charity commission, what he's being accused of is bullying, harassment, misogyny, misogynoir, which is a specific attack against black women. And
come on.
I know it doesn't seem to make any sense. But the Charity Commission is now involved, and they're doing an investigation. And this investigation is a compliance case. It's not an inquiry. That's important to make the distinction. So it's not gone to that stage yet. But I just kind of can't believe this can be true.
No, but the inquiry is has been prompted by what he said and the resignation. So it's an inquiry. It's more of an inquiry into Dr. Chandauka, isn't it, rather than an inquiry into...
Well, but you don't know what it'll expose. That's the danger, isn't it, of asking for it.
He seems very confident.
Well, he must have a clear conscience, and that's the only thing
the two founders and the entire board resigned.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, I'm not the first to jump to Harry's defence, but something...
There's something going on there.
No, quite right. But look, Prince Harry seems to be quite confident about a lot of things, I think, over the last few years, which has obviously brought a lot of negative headlines for him, for his wife, and obviously the royal family. And I think it's just another sad event in his life that is being played out in public. Clearly something, as you say, Stephen, is not all well at the inn. And I think we've just got to wait and see how this plays out. But it's not going to generate positive headlines. It's not going to adhere anybody more to him.
He could well be vindicated. He could very well be vindicated by all of this. So we've got to be very careful.
Yes, of course, but it is just so sad. This is the charity he set up in his mother's memory. And he must be gutted.
Yeah.
He must be gutted.
Well, he says it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because it is, as you say, it's something that was so close to his heart. He set up in memory of Diana, along with the Prince of Lesotho, I believe, in the early noughties.
Yes, and it's something that he did after, he was in the armed services. This was the thing that gave him something. It proved to the world that he could do something more than just be the spare.
And what's he got left now? Invictus Games is
Invictus Games, and then he's got a tech, some kind of weird tech job, hasn't he?
Has he?
Oh, he did have.
He's still on the board.
Okay, so I'm just going to ignore that nonsense. This is, after all, GB News. Take that word news very lightly. 99% of the things they say is, as you can see, opinions, conjecture, and absolute BS. And of course, because they all hate Harry, because he exists, there's nothing that they will ever say that will ever make sense. Or they will never take anything he does seriously or positively. That slapped ass I was talking about, and it just brings some even more negative headlines, and it doesn't endear people to him. I don't know who they're talking about. Who is this people? I feel like they're trying to I don't know if they're trying to convince people to hate Harry, or they're trying to convince themselves that people hate Harry. I don't know, guys. They're all delusional. So yeah, but it's interesting, and I do agree with Josephine here that there is some level of caution. I think it's because, and I said this before, if Sophie Chandauka was under the Lulu, that the British press was going to side with a black woman over a white prince, then I don't even know what to tell you. This is it right here. I think the reason why they are being cautious is because this is, in as much as they want to see Harry fail and they love to elevate negative headlines about him, this is also a complaint of misogynoir, which a right-wing station would never take seriously. So this is just another opportunity for them to discredit a woman of color who may even have, let me give her, it's open for investigation, right? This is another opportunity for them to discredit anything that has to do with women of color. the misogyny. I mean, the instance she mentioned, a black woman accused Harry of misogyny. He was like, "Oh, come on." See, this is why when I say Sophie Chandauka irritates me, yet another example of why she does things like this. Make them not take this type of thing seriously. But anyway. And of course, I think the last one, then I'll pity everybody. This racist ass Jeremy Vine. Let's listen to this back and forth.
And yesterday, heartbreaking, this Sentebale was really close to his heart. The chair, Sophie Chandauka, accused Harry of bullying and harassment after he stood down as patron of the charity, his own charity, last week. And yesterday, it all got a bit more heated because the Charity Commission announced it's opened an investigation into Sentebale, which Harry founded in 2006, although they're investigating for something called regulatory compliance, not bullying. The Duke then responded, saying he hopes the Commission will unveil the truth. These are his exact words. What has transpired over the last week has been heartbreaking to witness, especially when such blatant lies hurt those who've invested decades in this shared goal. So basically, it sounds like they didn't like Sophie, the chairperson. They tried to oust her, and she came back at them with allegations of bullying. I'm going to show you some social media here, which has been significant in all this. And basically you're at a polo match and there's a trophy presentation. It's in aid of the charity and Meghan shows up. Let's just have a look at what happens. So you'll see here people waving items. Harry is there, then the presentation. Sophie on the right moves to be next to Harry and Meghan appears to block her, wanting to be closest to Harry, and she then says, "Can you move the other side of me? She says it twice, "Can you move the other side?" I'll be frank, I've seen this a number of times. I don't see necessarily a problem here. Do you see a problem there?
No, I was talking to a friend of mine, Louise, about that video, and I said, well, actually, when you are at events, a photographer would do the same thing, because if...
Well, take a look again. I think the point was that this was a moment for Harry and Dr. Sophie as the chairperson, and then Meghan operate. Look at that backwards move by Meghan to block him, to block her, which ends up with her being pushed to the edge of frame, and then she has to duck under the. But that's the problem there.
So Sophie's not. I'm not defending anyone here, but Sophie's not the only one that's entered the frame. There's another lady.
I know.
And so, in terms of how the photos look, it's completely reasonable to say, well, people that dress the same, be in the middle if you're going to be in the middle, and then the guy.
I don't agree with that last point, but I wanted this whole thing to play because did you guys catch that? Watch this.
I've seen this a number of times. I don't see necessarily a problem
Watch
here. Do you see a problem there?
No, I was talking to a friend of mine, Louise, about that video, and I said, well, actually, when you are at events, a photographer would do the same thing, because if...
Well, take a look again.
Did you catch that? So Jeremy at the beginning of this video was talking about the charity, was talking about the investigation about the commission, and he even said it's a regulatory compliance investigation. Didn't mention the fact that the reason for this issue was primarily around the consultancy fees and the way they were being spent. No, he decided to focus on the Meghan, on the Meghan of it all, the so-called issue of friction in the polo match, all because Meghan, or they were trying to get Sophie Chandauka, as you saw, to stand in a way that she would be properly represented in the picture. Sophie was trying to stand next to Harry. Harry was holding on to his wife. She was holding on to her husband. Why? And it didn't make any sense because the picture was supposed to be, as we saw, a wide frame. So why is she standing that way? Somebody was saying it's because she wanted to stand next to Harry as the chair. I don't know. Either ways, I'm not seeing the problem. They could have taken another picture. Why was this specific picture the problem? But that's neither here nor there. And he's a hater because instead of focusing on the Charity Commission's complaints, on the actual complaint, which was the money spent, he decided to focus on the Meghan of it all. This Samuel's response makes no sense, saying that they were in all white. What? The reason why she had to move was she is the chair of Sentebale. They were taking a picture. It didn't make any sense for her to stand right next to Harry when they are standing against the backdrop. It didn't make any sense. So I don't know. Maybe he didn't have anything to say in the moment. But yeah, I just wanted to catch that. And also one other thing that he did that I thought was very interesting. Jeremy Vine started this part saying that he personally doesn't see any problem. Gesture to the black guy. I wanted to see what the black guy would say. When the black guy said, yeah, I really don't see any problem, he said, no, look again.
I think the point was that this was a moment for Harry and Dr. Sophie as the chairperson, and then Meghan operate. Look at that backwards move by Meghan to block him, to block her, which ends up with her being pushed to the edge of frame.
So let me tell you. Let me just summarize what's happened here. He's doing this false thing of I'm not going to be. That's why at the beginning he was like, look, I don't see any problems with it, but let's watch this video. Just as he was hoping maybe that the black guy would say something, but then when the black guy didn't say anything, he was like, no, actually there is a problem, right? So he was talking out of both sides of his mouth, maybe trying to pretend that he was unbiased. But we've already seen him do a segment a few days ago where he focused on this exact same clip and was complaining that Meghan showed up to a polo game with her husband. Jeremy Vine, you're an idiot. You don't even know how to even do it well. We already know you are biased. We already know that you don't like Meghan. We know. So I don't know what was the point of pretending as if you were trying to be balanced. No. It's not me. It's not my hatred, my blind hatred of someone I've never met and I don't know. No. It's just, see. Look how dare she stand next to her husband, who, by the way, is holding on to her. He wants her next to him in this picture. There was nothing wrong with Sophie standing right at the middle holding the trophy. It doesn't take away the fact that she's the chair. And I will say it again. They could have taken another picture, him and her. Why are we focusing on this one? Because we have to bring the Meghan into it. Because this woman decided to bring Meghan's name into it. Everything but to avoid the real issue, which was spending an unnecessary amount of money on consultants on a charity that only makes 1.5 million a year, approximately. But that's that point made. I think there's one more video and we're done. Okay, sorry.
I know. And so in terms of, but that's the problem. Sophie's not. I'm not defending anyone here, but Sophie is not the only one that's entered the frame. There's another lady.
I know.
And so in terms of how the photos look.
A stupid talking point. Is a stupid talking point.
You know her, don't you?
Let me fast.
Be in the middle if you're going to be in the middle, and then the guy.
Sophie Chandauka has cited that. You know her, don't you, Sophie?
I've known Sophie for nearly 20 years.
What kind of a person is she?
She is an extremely intelligent individual, extremely strong character, one of the strongest characters I know.
Right. Is that code for a bit of a bully?
No. She was very, very helpful to me.
How is saying somebody has a strong character is code for bully? So he brought this guy here primarily to provide commentary about Sophie Chandauka, and he decided that the first thing he's going to say is to cast her as a bully.
One of the organisations I set up, she's a great support when she was a lawyer.
Successful.
Successful. She's done a lot of great things. So this whole situation for me is extremely unfortunate.
Well, that's very interesting what you said, isn't it? I haven't heard from anyone who knows Dr. Sophie who has hit back in the most lacerating way, Tess.
That's what's surprising about this. You're right, she's a woman of considerable acumen and with an astonishing track record, MBE for instilling diversity in the city, etc., high-flown lawyer, Oxford-educated, Zimbabwean-born. Actually, her family is the third biggest donor family to Sentebale. Okay, so this is big egos. I think we tend to think just the Sussexes are capable of that kind of level of ego.
But Harry obviously thinks he could just get rid of the chairman, right? And the chairman says, I'm not moving.
But it wasn't for the sake of balance. Yes. It wasn't Harry who got rid of the chair. It was the board who no longer had confidence.
Okay, I love that.
From the copies of Spare alone. But what's interesting is in her interview, her sort of tell with another friend of hers, Trevor Phillips, she absolutely cited the Duchess. I mean, there's nothing warm about the way she spoke of Meghan.
So right.
And that Meghan arrived at this polo match unannounced with another famous friend. And it didn't look choreographed because it wasn't, because they didn't expect Meghan to be there. Yeah. Now, you could argue Meghan's a win, more eyeballs, more cameras, more money, but that's not how it looked on stage.
Yeah.
You were upset.
I didn't want to interrupt again because some of the feedback I get is I keep on interrupting. But let me quickly say something. Why is nobody talking about the fact that whenever Prince William has his polo matches that also for charity and Kate shows up, is not considered to be a distraction? But why is it a distraction when Meghan is there? Is Kate not? Have they not told us the time and time again that Kate is the MVP of the royal family and that she brings in? She's the one that everybody cares about. She's the most popular royal. So if we want to compare, even though we can't, we all know we can't. But let me play devil's advocate, because Harry and William are both princes. Their wives attend polo events. Their wives also hand out trophies. Why is Meghan's attendance the problem? And I think it's very stupid for Sophie to say she didn't expect Meghan to be there. What? She's his wife.
You're right, I don't know what to think. I mean, in the end, we were talking about it the other day, and I said Meghan showed up, and someone said, yeah, Meghan showed up. It's very disrespectful, that phrase. Because actually, as you say, she took some time to support the charity.
But also she can shop wherever she wants.
No, she can't.
If her husband is somewhere, it's within her right for her to go wherever.
Not if
wherever the hell he is. How can you say to somebody, forget Meghan, how can you say to somebody's wife that they cannot go somewhere that their husband is going? I mean,
that's Harry saying.
Well, surely it takes the light away from the charity, is the answer. And it's all about, where's the spotlight? I'm going to hog it. Colette has written on Facebook, if these accusations are false, then yes, he has every right to speak out. That's Harry, obviously. Paul has said on X, if this, we can see this comment, obviously he is within his rights to speak out. If they or she is lying, everyone has the right to stand up and fight. Kim on Facebook says this. He wasn't the only one who resigned, yet nothing has been said about the other prince.
Yeah.
Good point, and that's the Lesothian prince.
Yeah, the other prince is less newsworthy. This whole situation could have been completely avoided.
Yeah.
But my day job, you asked me what my day job was the other day, and earlier I didn't mention it. I put people on boards. So I very regularly help to replace board members when a chair or board members no longer...
Is there anything else? Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. Then I'll give my commentary. For
the sake of balance, in terms of who displaced her, forget the politics first, put that aside for a second. It was the other board members who no longer had confidence in the chair. Now, sometimes with the NHS, West Streeting no longer, there was some politics, and the chair of NHS England stood down.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't release any aggressive statements or anything like that.
Sure.
He just, topped the L and
you can't,
another day.
It's odd that she wants to take the whole charity down with her. I agree with you.
I find that fascinating.
Let's go to Patty Nation. Hello, Pat.
Oh, hello, Jeremy.
Do you think this is another fight that Harry should be staying out of?
No, I don't. Why shouldn't he stand up for his charity that he set up with Princess? So, I mean, this lady was asked to step back some time ago. She refused, and she sued the charity. She then said on television that Harry was the one who gave out a statement, but no, it wasn't. It was Harry and Prince Caesar that actually done the joint statement.
Yeah, she said that he was guilty of bullying at scale.
Well, I think to be perfectly honest, I think she's exaggerated. I don't trust the lady. She spent £400,000 of charity's money on consultants.
Well, she gave a lot, though. Yeah, but her family gave a lot to it as well. But you raise a fair point. I mean, always these charities are quite expensive to run.
But interestingly, and I'd love your opinion on this, Samuel, I think, Pat, the bigger issue is, beyond the sort of scorched earth policy they're both now engaged in, is the direction the charity took. Harry sets up this charity 19 years ago when white saviour princes were in vogue. There were children orphaned because of the AIDS pandemic. This was about saving a little-known part of Africa. And actually, when you employ an African-born chair who wants to take it in the direction of development and wealth and make it more African-based, that's going to jar with your predominantly Harry's chum trustee panel and ideas of saving Africa.
Yeah, I mean, there are different types of charities, and some are incredibly localised and place-based, and this is an example, and there are others that have broader objectives, right? And so you enter a charity where the founders have a specific objective. In my humble opinion, I'm not comfortable with the idea of their objectives being broadened without carrying along the people that set up the organisation, who are responsible for all the fundraising. And so I feel like there are a lot of governance issues here that go beyond just the
Let's leave it there. Thank you, Pat. Thanks to our callers on that. Later, we'll be asking whether dogs should be kept on leads in fields. After the break, we will take some more.
So he had to stop the conversation because it wasn't going his way. Jeremy Vine is a fool. He didn't have any. You saw the way he was dipping out of giving different talking points when he found out his panel was not following him on the anti-Meghan train and pushing his own agenda. He didn't like the conversation anymore. And I hope you guys have had a chance to see directly my dislike of Tessa Dunlop. The comment that she made was very stupid, very, very stupid. And this is why I can't take this woman seriously. She likes to position herself as a Harry supporter, Meghan supporter, but she's very shady about it and rude about it. I don't even think she likes them. I think she just likes to be contrary to her other right-wing idiots in a way, but she's still going to bash them anyway. Can't stand that woman. And yeah, I guess, again, like I tell you guys, British media is going to always be negatively biased towards Harry and Meghan, no matter what they do. Jeremy Vine is a troll at this point. But I think it's interesting that the Samuel guy was the only voice of reason, in as much as he even knew Sophie Chandauka. I'm sure Jeremy was hoping because he knew Sophie Chandauka, he would join him in his Meghan bashing. And when he wasn't and he was trying to be balanced, Jeremy didn't want to play anymore. Prick. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Shout out to Josephine for capturing these moments and making them available in a way that we don't get copyright struck. Please like and subscribe, follow her. I'll put her link in the chat. One last thing before I go, because I really have to head back to work. Let me show you guys something. Oh.
Jars and boxes of everything.
So before she speaks, a lot of people have said that Meghan is the reason why Meghan sold out was because she was only selling 10 jars of her products. I don't even have much to say because I think I already said my point about how stupid that talking point is. But this lady says it in such a wonderful way. Please, let's hear from her.
I knew people would be devastated that As Ever sold out, but I did not have on my bingo card you all saying that Meghan made limited amounts of jars and boxes of everything to give her the sold out appearance and calling it a marketing ploy. First of all, let's get something clear right here, because I cannot believe some of you as adults don't know how any of this works. In case you didn't know, Donald Trump just crashed the stock market, so make sure you look at your 401ks if you have one. Even if you wanted to believe that, can I ask you another question? Why would Netflix play that game with her? Netflix. What's in it for Netflix? Did you all forget that they are a big silent partner of hers? What's in it for them to say, hey, let's only make this many jars and this many boxes and this and this and this? Make no mistake, it was a soft launch, and a soft launch just means you just have limited things you can buy. It doesn't mean that the products are limited. It just means you're limited. Let me rephrase that. It just means you're limited in what you're offering for sale. Meghan's going to come out, like, this is going to be a seasonal thing. So every season she's going to come out with something new. She's going to come out with something fresh and unique. And that's it. But it makes zero sense for Netflix to play that game with her, just to give the appearance of that. And like I said, if you don't believe it, even the people who don't like Meghan just had to get their hands on it. And y'all know what they're going to do. They're going to rape bomb it. So just putting it out there right now, like, these people are so typical and predictable, okay? But the reality is that when I went to go purchase my products, I was putting stuff in my cart at lightning speed. I checked out. There was one tea that I didn't see, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that tea. Let me go back in and let me go grab it. I put it in my cart, and when I went to check out, it said, sorry, this is sold out. I said, crap, and I got back in. I got a text message from my friend that says, hey, girl, I think Meghan restocked. Go back in and get your stuff because I just got a few things. And I said, great, fantastic. So I went back in, tried the whole tea thing again, and when I got back into the web page, that's when it indefinitely said sold out. So I was like, well, I missed that train. I'm pretty sure she's going to restock. The reality is that I think you guys are having a very hard time with the fact that you sat on this platform, you sit on X, you sit on Facebook, you sit on Instagram all day long, nagging and complaining about Meghan. She's a bully, she's a narcissist, and that hasn't stopped people from wanting to touch and consume what she consumes.
Yep.
Your billion-dollar hate machine is going bankrupt, and you're panicking. Not only that, I don't even know why a lot of you in the UK and all these other countries give a fuck. She's not even selling nothing to you. You can't get shit. This is all America. This is Americans like me who are buying her products. You guys get nothing. And I hate that for the people who do like Meghan and really do want as ever. Stay tuned. She's working on it, okay? It's just that when it comes to food and perishables and shipping, come on now, use your imagination. So it's not lost on me that some of you are just absolutely stupid, but I think some of you are having a hard time grasping the fact that this brand is so highly successful. So the only logical explanation is she only made 5 jars and Netflix is in on it. But you guys just said that her contract with Netflix ended. So which is it? Which is it? You guys can't seem to make up your mind about any of this. But no. And if you need further proof, back when I was 18 years old, one of my first jobs before I went to college was at a factory, and we pretty much were packagers, and that particular factory didn't just make one brand of anything, it made multiples. And there were a lot of small business type things that came through, and I'm telling you right now, we were palletizing all up inside the wall. And if you don't think that Meghan had the same quantity count, I don't know what to tell you. I truly don't. But nobody's forcing you to buy a fucking thing or tune in or give a shit about what she does. You're doing this on your own free will. You're driving yourself insane, following every fucking thing she does. You're policing how black women spend their money. You guys are weird. Let it go. Let the hate go. Move on. Find another hobby. There are a ton of other bigger shit that's going out here.
So I don't mean to cut her off, but yeah, please follow her, Erica Christine 15 on TikTok. I didn't get a chance to get the exact video, but Tina's team Sussex has it here. So yeah, guys, I mean, this is quite a long video, but yeah, I just wanted to do a quick Sophie Chandauka roundup, give you a view of how the British media continues to report this. Not really surprising, to be honest, but just to give you a view. And I love this from this lady. For the haters, I hope this video, because there's really nothing else to say, I hope this video gives you sleepless nights. As ever's success is organic, it is authentic. All the hateration and lying and shenaniganery has not been successful. Meghan has fans, and if you don't believe me, let's go band for band. Let the prince do his own, let the king do his own high grove jam drop. Shay, you said Meghan's jam is too expensive. Let him do his £7 jam drop now, and let's see who buys it. Sure, the jams are still there. Last year, you people were trying to do, Meghan is releasing jams. And as a consequence of her releasing jams, the king's jams was it sold out or they were selling? So why are the jams still there? Why are the jams still there? Sure, because of Meghan, the king's jams. So why are the jams still in stock? We can't check High Grove now. Is anybody buying it? I'm not checking because what normal people do is when they don't like people or they don't like something, they don't keep track of it. I don't keep track of the royal family. I only drag them when they do something stupid or not do anything at all, like Princess Kate and her husband, who are earning all that money, taking all our taxpayer money in this severe financial crunch we are about to get into, and they're not doing anything that we can see that's tangible. But you know what I think is going to happen, guys? I think as she mentioned Trump's tariff, as more of us begin to feel the pinch of the pound or the dollar, it'll be very interesting how society begins to react to the royal family. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying watching a bunch of pompous people who don't work, wear expensive clothes, and live a life of pageantry and opulence with no actual... Let me stress again, they don't actually work. While people are struggling to pay their bills, eat, heat their houses, take care of their children, people are going to start asking a lot of questions very, very soon. But because this tends to happen during financial downturns, and neither Wills or Kate have the charm or the love to field all this kind of pushback. So I think it's going to be very interesting times. Do you guys agree? So yeah, it's been a long video. It's been nice catching up with you guys. I have one more video I'm going to do with Maureen and the Musketeers. Trust, it'll probably come later in the evening, maybe around 7 or so, or earlier. It depends. I'm going to go into some intense sprint work now. And yeah, please let me know your thoughts. Please like, subscribe, and share. I don't know if I said it at the beginning, but for the new subscribers, welcome again. Welcome. Thank you for all your support. Please watch my videos as much as you can to improve the reach and the engagement so I can grow my viewership. And yeah, love to hear from you guys. Take care. Bye.